Howdy, howdy, howdy. My channel anniversary was a while ago, like 3 days ago, and I didn't really have much planned, so I decided to take one of my Discord member suggestions and do a Q&A. I've always kind of wanted to do it, but never really had an excuse to, so we're doing it now. I have 15 questions gathered here from the community post I made a couple days ago. Let's just get on into them. Also, just in case you're still avoiding these, this video will contain downpour spoilers, but just relatively small and manageable ones. So, starting off, question 1. Where did the Daszombes name come from and why? I've told this story before, but only on stream, so no hard feelings if you've missed it. But my first non-mom's phone gaming system was the Nintendo DS. And if you recall, you had to make an ID for some features of it, like PictoChat. At the time, my young-ass brain thought that this emote, if I can find it, I'll put it up on screen here, looked like a zombie. So my name was Zombie, and then that emote. When I moved to Steam a few years later, they didn't really have the emote, so I changed it to the name Zombie Face. When I graduated middle school, I thought that that particular name was a bit too juvenile, so I changed it to Daszombes, which I cut out the last bit because people couldn't pronounce it whenever I Twitch donated and things like that, leaving it where it is now. Question 2. Why did you become a YouTube content creator? Like, at what point did you think, I'm going to make a video about this? Actually, ever since I was super young, I wanted to be a YouTuber. I was among the first or second generations raised on YouTube properly. So as a kid that grew up on what can be arguably considered the golden age of YouTube, I, like many other kids in my position, felt like being a YouTuber would be the best option. You know, you get to play video games and make money from it. My attempts at making YouTube videos started when I was quite young. My first attempts to get YouTube attention were really bad because they were unedited and voiced over by a squeaker with no idea how to commentate and a bad stutter. So they didn't get too much attention. Thank God. But during the pandemic, I decided to try again at the end of my senior year of high school with a more refined touch. I mean, to be fair, anything was more refined than 32 minutes of Gmod footage. But yeah, overall, I am very glad that I finally managed to hit that mark. I couldn't think of a job that I'd like more than this. Alright, question 3. I'm curious how it's been to get to this point. I honestly don't see that many people play Rainworld as their main game on their channel, which also brings up the question, are you going to expand into other games more regularly? Well, I never really intended to have Rainworld be my main game, but as with many YouTubers, that's just how it ended up. You follow the views or your channel dries up. And I certainly didn't mind making Rainworld content near exclusively. There's a lot to talk about, and I got positive feedback from it. Rainworld's a pretty easy game to discuss. It's got a lot of meat there, but I don't expect it to last forever. I don't think I'm going to be in my 30s and making Rainworld content. So there's a decent chance that once Downpour calms down and I run out of shit to talk about, I'm going to move back to variety content, stuff like Deep Rock Galactic, FromSoft games, and Silksong if that comes out within the next decade, that kind of thing. Question 4. What got you into Rainworld, and is there anything you particularly enjoy or dislike about it? For example, I really enjoy the perspective of Ascension it portrays. P.S. I really enjoy the content. Thank you. Spectacu got me into Rainworld. I watched his video on the game and decided it looks fun, so I bought it and got stuck in Drainage System. After doing that, I quit the game for like a year. And when the pandemic started, I decided I'd give it another chance because I was running out of games to play, which was probably a good idea in hindsight. And of course, my favorite thing about the game is the lore and themes, if you couldn't tell by how much I've written about it. But overall, the graphical aesthetic carries the lore through the gameplay super well, too. Number 5, how much writing experience do you have? You do at times write pretty eloquently, as if you have a lot of experience. Are you involved with literature a lot? Kinda. I spent all of high school writing. It was my main escape from doing homework. I wrote mostly for D&D campaigns, but I slammed out quite a few short stories that now lie dead and buried at the bottom of my document folder. Though most of my writing chops come from just research and experience, honestly couldn't give you better advice in writing than just take feedback from your peers. Question 6. When can we expect a new wildlife vid, and will you continue the region concepts? You'll get the video eventually, and join the Discord. We have one going on right now. Number 7, who's your favorite Skullgirls character? Painwheel Mains, Rise Up. Number 8, Win Hollow Knight Lore Part 2. Number 9, what do you think are Rainworld's biggest flaws? Both gameplay and lore-wise. Also, what's your favorite Downpour song? Now, Rainworld is a great game, but it does have a few flaws, primarily the fact that it is so devoted to its own jank that it sacrifices quality sometimes. See the entire rot area in the Rivulet campaign and most of Unfortunate Development. Or, for example, how some of the Slugcat powers work by having you be forced to press 2 buttons at once, instead of just binding a new hotkey to special powers. Though honestly, most of my problems with the game were fixed with Downpour, such as Hunter Cycles and Spears not being pullable from walls, but those are mostly just nitpicks. My favorite song in the entire game is still Past Echoes and has been for years. Number 10, who/what are your biggest inspirations for making videos? Earlier in my career, I took inspiration from Maxor's somewhat earlier videos before they turned into Adderall-fueled nightmare meshes, as well as Jacob Geller for my more calm video essay-style content. And I still do take inspiration from Grapefruit with my streaming style. All of them are incredible YouTubers. Watch them now. Number 11, I have 4 questions. God. Firstly, where did your pronunciation of iterators come from? It just sounded right, and at this point I'm doing it because I genuinely think it sounds better than iterator, and it's also funny when people get angry about it. Secondly, what made you start YouTube? Timestamp. Thirdly, how do you get into Rainworld? Timestamp. Fourthly, do you have a Twitch channel? The Daszombes Twitch channel predates the YouTube channel and has been in the description of almost all videos I've ever made. 12. How will you handle the next Iterator log? We all know what's coming. Gamer, you'll just have to wait and see, but I promise it's not going to be that bad. I'm actually pretty proud of how it's shaping up. Anyway, 13. What made you want to make the Iterator Log Series? Have you always made stories/fanfiction like that? I was always partial to fanfiction in general. I never really wrote it that much, but like, inspiration hits like a truck, and it's usually easier to get attention for your own short stories if they're fanfiction online. Anyway, Iterator Logs in particular, or the first episode, was actually started in a place of complete creative block where I had no idea what to do. So I decided that I wanted to make a narrative thing, and I repurposed one of my old D&D villains. This villain was inspired by Iterators quite heavily. His name was Xerus, the first of a race of robots designed to maintain factories, who, upon his creators leaving him, decided to build outwards and free his comrades. See the similarities? But yeah, so I find it really interesting though, because Frontier is based off of this character who was inspired by Rainworld, and now because of the popularity, or I guess technically popularity, I still don't know if he's graduated from Giga Niche or not, but I find it really interesting that this thing that I took completely anonymously from Rainworld and decided to build off of it has become almost inextricably connected to it. But anyway, that's just my unscripted ramblings. 14, what are your plans for the Iterator Log Series in the future? Anything you can share with us? The 6th episode is going to be the final one. That's all I'm going to share. Number 15, from Splashpaws, the animator of Logs 4, by the way. When can I come out of the coal mines? If you could go back and change up the way one of the Logs episodes of Region contents was structured, what would you change and why? The main things that I'd change in the Logs canon, at least, is the dating system, or the timescale, the numbers before every log. It has fucked me up so much, and it's my main gripe with the earlier logs, so it's super inconsistent. I feel like it could have done AGS better too, give her more opportunity to shine as her own character instead of as a measuring stick for Frontier. Also, for the Region concepts, I could have done Glacier's lore better. I really could have done it better. Anyway, do you see yourself ever coming back to the themes and characters you've made with Iterator Logs, and maybe attempting to make something with them that's not Rainworld related? I do have plans for an Iterator Log style channel, completely separate from the goings on here. Hopefully after Logs concludes, I can start that up and get it running, and if hopefully I can get enough people migrating from here to have it actually be a worthwhile venture, and not just a hobby project. Anyway, that's all for the Q&A. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you relatively soon, hopefully, with the next video. Goodbye.